Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed the show from the other day. Danny Montero, certified personal trainer with Mind and Body Soul Fitness. I have Yadira here with us who's going to be assisting me. I'm excited to, and here she goes. I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Yadira Mercado. I'm a certified group fitness instructor. I lost 83 pounds by being consistent with my fitness and workout plan. I'm excited to be here today with Danny and being able to assist him with his project. If you want to know more about me, follow me on Instagram at Yadira Fit Lifestyle and on Facebook at Yadira Mercado.
All right, now we're going to rock it. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to do a warm-up, and then we're going to stretch, and then we're going to get into the workout. I'm going to do 3 workouts, and then Yadira is going to lead. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to march in place for 20 seconds. Each exercise we do, it's going to be for 20 seconds. As you can see, Yadira, she's doing the modified version if you have problems with the jogging in place. All right, keep the abs tight, shoulders back. 5 more seconds. Focus on your breathing. Make sure you have your water bottles and your towel. All right, we're going to switch. Okay, we're going to be in a wide squat here. Okay, wide squat here. Here. Okay, here. And make sure your knees is not going past the toes. And stick the butt out. Good form right there. Let's go. All right. Pump it. If you can't go too low, that's okay. All right, here we go. Now we're going to go down into a high plank. We're going to do mountain climbers. Okay, so we're right here. Shoulders, your arms align with your shoulders, okay? And here. Okay, and then, see how she's stepping one by one? All right, she's not going as fast as I am. She's taking one step in, back, and another step. Her body's not too high, it's low. All right? Arms aligned with the shoulders. So from the side, this is me. All right, good work, everyone. Good job. Good job. I'm gonna take 30-second rest and get right back to it. Okay, grab your water bottle, take a sip of water. Don't take a big chug, because that can lead to cramps. All right? All right, so just don't sit down, walk around, move around. So the blood stays flowing. We don't want the blood to rush to one place all at once. Okay.
Sorry, I need water.
All right, here we go. Gonna go back to the jog. This time, a little faster. And she's gonna march a little faster. All right? Here we go. All right, shoulders back, move them arms. Here we go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. All right, good job. And then we're gonna switch it in this squat. We're in a wide stance. We're loosening up the hip flexors. Down, chest up, chest up, chest up again. From the side. Here, don't allow your knees to go past the toes. Good. Inhale, exhale. Focus on your breathing. Again, keep the abs tight. Shoulders back. All right, it's down to feel the burn. Feels good. Here we go. Just warming it up. All right, switch. We're going to go down into a high plank. Okay? High plank. I'm going to do it at an angle so you can see. Okay? My shoulders is aligned straight. It's not forward, okay? Let's go. Only stop when I tell you to. Here we go. And Yadira's doing the modified version. You see her taking step by step. All right? Keep the abs tight. Loosening it up. Good. Here we go. Push. A little faster the second round. Here we go. Inhale, exhale. Break. Good job. All right, 30-second rest. We're gonna get right back into it. One last round to go. And we're gonna stretch. It's always good to warm up the body first then stretch. So the muscles will be loose. You don't want to stretch when the muscles are tight. Cause injury. That's what we're trying to prevent. All right, we got 10 more seconds. Take a sip of water. Very important. Here we go. Jog in place, come on. This time, a little faster. And she's gonna march a little faster. Here we go, come on, keep it tight. Shoulders back. A little faster, here we go. Sprint to the finish line, come on. Pump, pump it. Let's go. We're getting right and tight here, folks. Beautiful way to start the day, or if you're ending it. All right, break. Okay, wide squat. Wide, loosen up the hip flexors. If you just tuned in, each one is for 20 seconds and 30-second rest on the warm-up. A little faster this time. From the side, don't allow your knees to go forwards like so. Okay, keep the butt back and up, just like your Yadira is doing. Here we go. Pumping it. Come on. Keep the legs tight. Squeeze the glutes when you rise. Good. Break. We're gonna drop it down. High plank. Mountain climbers. Let's go. If you can't do it like I am, do it like your Yadira is doing. Step by step. If you cannot, go down to the floor. Put your hands on a bench, a chair, a couch, and you can do these. All right? Keep the abs tight, butt low. Not all the way to the ground. Good job. Break. Go work. We're going to take 30-second rest, and we're going to stretch. Make sure you have your towel, your water bottle, because we are going to sweat. We are going to get thirsty. All right. Inhale, exhale. Yadira, she's just grabbing her water. She's getting thirsty. We got 10 more seconds. I need a little sip as well. Here we go. The first one we're gonna do is called moving curtsy squats. If you cannot do it like I am, you can do it like Yadira is, the modified version. Okay, so curtsy squats, let's go. So we're right here. Step, here. Hop right there, curtsy. Here we go. 30 seconds. Make sure you keep the butt tight. All right? Keep the body upright. Here we go. Move, move. Move and squat. Move and squat. Move and squat. Move and squat. Come on. Squat. If you have trouble with moving, doing it like me or like she is, stand in place and just go down. You do some one on one side and then move. All right, we got a couple more seconds. Let's go. All right, good job. Good job. All right, now we're gonna get into we're gonna be in a low squat and we're gonna do a pike push-up. So from here we go, let's go. Good, modifications, see she's on her knees and then she walks back up. So right here, press, stay low. Here, stay low from the side. All right, so here from the side, here, back up, I'm keeping it low. If you can't keep it low, that's okay, just come back up. Here, all right. Here. Good job. All right, next one, we're gonna get down on the ground. We're gonna hit the abs, okay? Here we go. Okay, so I'm laying back here, and I'm gonna do a leg raise and reach up to my feet or my shins. Here we go, come on. Here, keep the abs tight. And Yadira's doing the modification. You see here, her legs are on the foot, she's raising it up and reaching. And if you feel pain on your neck, keep the neck down on the ground. Don't worry about raising it up. Good work, let's go. From the side, hit 1, 2, 3, break. Good job. 1 minute rest. We're gonna get right back into that. All right, good job, everyone. High five. Go work. Go work. It's not easy, but it's gonna get easy. Whatever I do, you might think I love it all. That's not necessarily true. But I keep doing it because I'm gonna get better at it. It's gonna get easier. And what I hate to do is gonna change my body. I think about it like that. All right, so I'm gonna take a sip of water. Ray, how you feeling?
Good.
All right. Give you guys a tip. It's not only about the exercise. The nutrition is a big part of it, and you'll learn more of that from her. You want to portion your food the way you eat, you know? And you want to eat more throughout the day. Some people eat 2 times a day. You're like, I'm working out, I'm exercising, I'm not losing much. You need to eat much, more. All right, let's go. Curtsy squat, moving curtsy squat. Here, step, hop, curtsy squat. Hop, curtsy squat, hop, curtsy squat. Keep the legs tight. Squeeze that butt. Come on. Modification like you're Irish. Here we go. Come on. Breathe in, inhale, exhale. Keep the abs tight, shoulders back. You don't want to be leaning forward. Okay, keep the body upright, just like she is. Break. All right, here we go. We're gonna get down to the low squat. Okay, down, hit. This is good. Legs, shoulders, triceps. You can do it like her. See, she's stepping back and stepping back into it. Come on, here we go. Jesus is getting us through this. Come on, great way to start a Sunday after. Good job. Good job. I would take a minute rest. Like I said, great way to start your Sunday after your church service you had online. National Christian Television Network has a lot of great pastors, great shows. All right? Make sure you follow us. Make sure you comment. If there's anything you'd like for us to do, any part of the body you want us to target, drop your message, let me know. Share this video, support us. We're all in this together. We're accountable for each other now. All right? High five. Let's go. All right, we got about 20 seconds left. Inhale, exhale. I'm sweating. You know, I sweat a lot. Some people don't sweat as much, and that's normal. And some people sweat a lot. All right, we have 5 more seconds. All right, this is the last round. Curtsy squats. Here we go, get in your position. All right, curtsy squat, step, 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 step. If you need more resistance to doing this, you can grab a set of dumbbells, hold it by your side, hold it above. Here we go. All right, squat, squat, come on, let's go. All right, great job, everyone. That's first one down. We're gonna go back down to a low squat. All right, here, like a football player. Down, come on, up. Press, let's go. If you have trouble doing it like me, you can do it like you hear it, the modified version. Come on, let's go. 5 more seconds. Ha, let's go, press. Good job, drop it down. We're gonna hit the abs. She's doing the modified version. Her legs are gonna be on the ground. She's not really raising her body as high as I am. Come on. Here. 1, 2. Keep the abs tight. 3, 4. If you feel any pain while doing any of these exercises, let me know, and I might know the answer. Or I'll break. Good job. Or I'll lead you to the right person that does it. Yeah, how you feeling? Come on.
Great.
Good job. A minute rest. And then I'm going to give the floor to Yadira to do the next 3 exercises. Now I'll be doing the modification. I needed that. All right.
Anyway.
Inhale, exhale, control my breathing. I hope everyone is enjoying this. At the end, You're gonna feel great. Your energy level's gonna come up. If you just started doing these workouts, give it about. Some people it could be a couple weeks, it could be a month. Your energy level is gonna rise. For a fact. You're gonna be more mobile because a lot of us don't stretch or move like we should. A lot of people wish they can do all this. There's some people that are not able to move, that are handicapped, but they still do exercises. So use what God gave you. All right, Yadira? Show
Yes.
them what's up. Here we go. Thank you. All yours.
Let's go.
I'll keep time for you, okay?
Yes, 20
This
seconds.
is a little complicated to use.
So now, you're gonna do beginning?
I'll do the modification.
Okay. So now we're gonna do burpees. Your body should be warmed up. You know, you should have a lot of energy right now and just ready to go. So I'm gonna perform the intermediate and he's gonna do the beginners. For intermediate, we're gonna go chest on the floor and we're gonna jump up. Let's go, right here. Down, up. Up. Core tight when you're down. Breathe when you come up.
More seconds.
2 more seconds. Let's go. Woo, woo. Next workout, we're gonna do 2 in 1. So we're gonna do squat and we're gonna do a side lunge. So right here, squat, side lunge. Back up, squeeze those glutes. Side lunge, squeeze. 20 seconds each side. Right here. The next exercise is going to be high knees. So this is going to target your lower muscle in your core. You're going to tighten your core and give it your all, bringing your knees up, up. You put your hands up. Breathe. Core tight. Right here.
All right. There you go. Went over a couple seconds. We're going to take a minute rest. Grab your water. Wipe that sweat. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're moving around. Make sure you're moving around. You don't want to sit and have the blood to rush, like I always say. A lot of things I repeat because I want you to have it up in here. Inhale, exhale. And any tips for the people here?
One tip I want to give you is when you're focused on your core and your glutes, make sure it's tight and right and you're breathing correct and your form is good. Don't focus too much about going on a race, like if you're racing with someone. Focus on yourself and focus on the body part that you're working on, so it's all right here in your mind. Stay positive. Burpees. We're going to go back to burpees. Right here, chest on the floor, and we're going to jump up. We're going to jump up when we come back up. Right here.
If you have trouble going down all the way to the ground, grab a bench, grab a chair, grab your couch, put your hands on the
Come
couch.
on. Right
All
here.
right, great.
Halfway. Next workout, squat with a side lunge. Right here. Nice and deep. Squeeze when you come up. Side lunge. Squat. Here. Breathe. Last exercise is high knees. Right here. Core tight, knees high.
You have a lot of exciting things coming your way. We're gonna have more fun and exciting people like Yadira on the show. All right, great.
Last round. Give it your all, like a Spartan.
Oh yeah.
Ten more seconds. All right, let's go. Breathe.
Work. Come on.
Inhale.
Perfect.
Deep breath. Right here. Burpees. Down. Up. Down. Up.
If you have trouble going all the way down, don't worry about standing in that low squat. Great. Woo!
Woo! We on fire. The room is hot. The room should be hot. You should be sweating.
Last one.
Let's go.
All right.
Squat into side lunge right here. Deep squat. Bring it right back up. Like this. Yes. Down. Breathe.
Good job. We're almost there. A few more seconds left. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Let's give it your all for high knees.
Last one.
Let's go. Let's go. Core tight, knees high. Right here.
Five more
Breathe.
seconds.
Breathe. Core tight.
1.
Woo!
You did it. Good job. Good job. We're going to take a minute rest. And we're going to get into some stretching. The best part of finishing the exercise is stretching.
Yes.
Get a sip of water. Again, don't take a big chug of the water. I understand we get thirsty and we feel like we really need to drink. Just take a little sip just to quench the thirst. You don't want to get cramps in the abs. Doesn't feel good. 20 more seconds left. All right. So the first stretch we're gonna do, we're gonna go down and reach. We're gonna go wide, reach for each side, reach for the middle, okay? And then the third one is we're gonna stretch the quads. All right, here we go. We're gonna go down, reach as much as you can go. If you only can go to the knees, that's fine. All right, make sure your chest is up, so you and push the butt out, so your back will stay straight, just like her. You see here? Her back is straight and she's reaching. All right, and we're gonna switch. We're gonna go wide. Wide here, I wanna reach all to the right side. Go as much as you can go. Enjoy the stretch. Enjoy the stretch. Inhale, exhale. We'll hold it for about 10 seconds and we'll reach for the middle. Now reach for the middle and go back. So reach all the way, so from here, reach back as much as you can. All right, as much as you can. If you can't go much, it's okay. Little by little, you will. Okay, now let's switch to the left. Reach for the left. Side of the, try to, the heel if you can. If not, that's okay. Both my legs are straight. Okay? Inhale, exhale. All right, we're gonna go back up, and then we're gonna stretch the quads. If you have trouble with the balance, okay, I'll show you a different way you can do it. Like she's doing it there, you can sit back, and you can lay back, and bring that leg back here, okay? Okay, then we can switch. Good. This is a good way to work your balance. As you can see, her balance is pretty good. All right, you can sit or just bring that leg back. Oh, it feels really good. All right, and we're gonna stand back up. We're gonna perform that first stretch we did. We're gonna reach down for the toes. Little by little, as you become more flexible, it's really important to stretch that low back, the butt, and the hamstrings. Reach. Good. Focus on your breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. See, my knees are straight. If you have to bend it a little bit, it's okay. It's all right, as long as you're feeling that stretch. Okay, we're gonna go wide. We're gonna reach to the right side of the foot. Both legs straight. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now, right back to the middle. Reach back. Reach back. If you have trouble reaching back, you can grab the ankles and push yourself between the legs. Oh yeah. Yeah, even more. Now reach for the left side. Woo! Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good job. And then the quad stretch, okay? Like she's gonna do it like so, and I'm gonna go on the ground and do the modified way. But if you have trouble like that, either way is fine. You don't have to do it like that, you can do it like this. And if you want more of a stretch, you don't really feel it, you can lean back and you get more of a stretch. And make sure that leg that's bent is on the ground. I needed this stretch. It's very important stretch. You want to be mobile, especially as we age.
No.
All right, now switch. Focus on your breathing. Inhale in your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale in your nose, exhale through your mouth. I hope everyone enjoyed this session today. Like I said, make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment. If anything you'd like to see, let us know.
Share with your friends and family.
For sure. For sure. Support us here at New England Christian Television Network. It was a blessing and a pleasure to be here with you today. And it was great to have Yadira here with us today. You're going to be seeing more of her. She has a lot of great and exciting things coming your way. Anything you'd like to say for the people before we end this?
If you'd like to know more of what I do and want to follow my journey, follow me at Yadira Fit Lifestyle on Instagram and at Facebook, Yadira Macardo.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. God bless everyone. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed the show from the other day. Danny Montero, certified personal trainer with Mind and Body Soul Fitness. I have Yadira here with us who's going to be assisting me. I'm excited to, and here she goes. I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Yadira Mercado. I'm a certified group fitness instructor. I lost 83 pounds by being consistent with my fitness and workout plan. I'm excited to be here today with Danny and being able to assist him with his project. If you want to know more about me, follow me on Instagram at Yadira Fit Lifestyle and on Facebook at Yadira Mercado.
All right, now we're gonna rock it. So first thing we're gonna do a warm up, and then we're gonna stretch, and then we're gonna get into the workout. I'm gonna do 3 workouts, and then Yadira's gonna lead. All right, here we go. All right, so we're gonna march in place for 20 seconds. Each exercise we do, it's gonna be for 20 seconds. As you can see, Yadira, she's doing the modified version if you have problems with the jogging in place. All right, keep the abs tight, shoulders back. 5 more seconds. Focus on your breathing. Make sure you have your water bottles and your towel. All right, we're gonna switch. Okay, we're gonna be in a wide squat here. Okay, wide squat here. Here. Okay, here. And make sure your knees is not going past the toes, and stick the butt out. Good form right there. Let's go. All right, pump it. If you can't go too low, that's okay. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna go down into a high plank. We're going to do mountain climbers. Okay, so we're right here. Shoulders, your arms aligned with your shoulders, okay? And here. Okay, and then, see how she's stepping one by one? All right, she's not going as fast as I am. She's taking one step in, back, and another step. Her body's not too high, it's low. All right? Arms aligned with the shoulders. So from the side, this is me. All right, good work, everyone. Good job. Good job. I'm gonna take 30-second rest and get right back to it. Okay, grab your water bottle, take a sip of water. Don't take a big chug.
CB's corner, Brother Dennis.
Thank you.
Why don't you say hello to the audience?
Thank you, CB. Thank you for.
Hello. Welcome to CB's Corner. Another beautiful Tuesday, and I'm so happy that you could join us today. And I am overjoyed because I have with me another wonderful young man who has been in my corner for over 30-something years. Another Buccaneer, another graduate of CVI, UVI, University of the Virgin Islands. And I'm talking about none other than my good friend and buddy, Dr. Dennis Tyrrell. Welcome to CV's Corner, Brother Dennis.
Thank you.
Why don't you say hello to the audience?
Thank you, CB. Thank you for welcoming me to have this time together and to share some thoughts with your audience about coping with COVID-19.
Well, thank you for coming, and I just want to let the audience know how far we've known each other.
Yeah.
You and I got to know each other in the early 80s. We were dorm mates at the University of the Virgin Islands, College of the Virgin Islands then.
At the time.
And we were the Scorpions. And
that's what we were called.
That's right. And as it happened, I migrated to Boston, and then you came up to Boston, and
a few years later,
and we started. You started to be a member of my church, and your wife and my wife, being in the same profession as dentists, have become very good friends, and so our family is just
interconnected.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to have you, my brother.
Thank you.
And you have done well, and I'm proud of you, and I'm honored to have you in my corner, like I said, literally and figuratively. Let me just tell the people about your accomplishments, a little bit about that. Of course, you are from the island of St. Kitts Nevis, and of course, you migrated to St. Thomas, where he attained his BA in 1980. 1988, yes. And then he attained his master's degree at UMass Boston, and then his PhD at Boston College. And so Brother Dennis, I call him brother because he's a member of my church, and that's what we say at church. We call each other brother and sister. So you'll hear me call him Brother Dennis or Dr. Dennis. So that is interchangeable. And so you have been doing counseling for quite a bit now, and you have your own private practice.
Correct.
And you also do some counseling at Brandeis University.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that.
Yes. Myself and another graduate of Boston College, Martin Pierre, founded Ashmont Counseling back in 2008. And it's been a small practice. There's 3 of us in the practice, and we're located in Dorchester. We wanted to be in the neighborhood and offer first-rate, excellent service. And I would say that based on how busy we are, the community has embraced us, and they value the service that we provide. And I do that part-time, and on the other 2 days, I'm at Brandeis University in the Counseling Center. And there I'm a part of a much larger staff, and so I appreciate, how they say iron sharpens iron, so I appreciate being a part of a bigger staff there. And I wear a couple hats there as well. I'm the co-director of training. We have a training program where we train up-and-coming psychologists and social workers, and so I co-direct that program as well.
Well, that's awesome. You are giving back to the community. That's great. And it's interesting that I think it's for me to mention that you are a Christian psychologist. You are very proud of your Christian heritage. And how do you navigate through the psychology of things and being a Christian and believing in God and believing that God can heal and all of that? How do you navigate through all of that with people of different faiths maybe, or people that don't even believe?
Firstly, I would say that my faith grounds me. And in order for me to do the work that I do, I have to believe that there's a force that's greater than myself, to help me sit with a client who would describe, their deepest pain, and me being able to say, there is a source that I'm tapped into that helps me to be the presence of love and the source of healing in that interpersonal interaction that I'm having with a client. So for clients who are also Christians and who believe in God, then I tell them from day one then that God can be in the session with us. If someone doesn't believe in God, well, I was trained as a secular clinician, and so I have the tools, to just work with them and help them to get better. Doesn't mean I don't pray for them, but I won't do it in the session.
Right.
Whereas someone who believes, we pray as part of the session.
Of course, and of course, the things that you'll tell them, from my little understanding, by the way, I minored in psychology, so I know a little bit. The things that we speak from a Christian perspective is not that far away from the psychology that you're trying to teach. The love, the positivity, the believing in yourself that you can accomplish and you can do stuff. It's not far-fetched from what we believe as Christians, that I can do all things if I would only believe. Right.
And from my perspective as a psychologist and a Christian, I see them, like you said, as interconnected. There are some who practice as psychologists and who don't necessarily believe. But I don't see a contradiction between me having an active faith and being an excellent psychologist at the same time.
All right. Well, that is great. That's a good introduction, because we really want to talk about mental health as it relates to this COVID-19 that we're experiencing. Can you just give us an overview as to what is mental health, what it is all about?
Mental health, for example, from a wellness perspective, means that you having the resources to manage the stresses, the typical stresses that come up from day to day. As long as we are engaging with family, we're engaging with community, we're interacting with others, there are going to be opportunities for friction, for misunderstanding. And so that when we have that confidence that we have the resources to cope, then it says that we are experiencing good mental health. There are times, though, that based on the environmental circumstances, based on biological forces or genetics, that ability to cope with life, that ability to take the stress of life can become overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And that's when mental functioning starts to deteriorate. That's when you see a higher level of anxiety or maybe depression. Or someone may have gone through some really horrific things that have been traumatizing. And so now the brain being traumatized, that colors how that person experiences the world. So that, for example, someone with a trauma history can be easily triggered when they're in stressful situations. And then here they are in that moment because they're triggered, now they're responding to that situation in the moment as if they were in the traumatic situation that happened previously.
Yes, I can only imagine, and with this pandemic that we are facing, one can imagine the anxiety level and the stress level of people going up, exponentially.
Oh yeah,
and so you have to deal with that on a regular basis, but how has that affected you personally and professionally?
Personally, there's been so many adjustments that I've had to make. So that for example, at where I work in my private practice and also at Brandeis University, those places got closed pretty early on in the pandemic.
Right.
And so we've had to switch from seeing clients in person, where we're kind of this distance apart or even closer doing our work, to now going strictly onto a video format.
Right.
And so I wake up and I'm in my house. I go to work. I take a few steps and I'm at work in my house. And the kitchen where I have my dinner is at the kitchen table where I'm also doing my work. And so it's been a challenge. It's been quite a transition. And especially when it was colder, to be in the house for days on end without going out, that I was not accustomed to, and so it took some adjusting.
Right.
And then to have everyone again coexisting in the same space, for days at a time, and having none of the usual outlets, the stress level got elevated a little bit personally. Professionally, I would say that I've been as busy or probably busier than I've ever been.
I can imagine.
Because when I reached out to my clients to say, we have to switch to a telehealth or video format, maybe one or two said, I'll wait until this is over. But by far and large, everyone agreed to switch to the video format. And whereas in the past, I had maybe like a 10% no-show. These days, everyone shows up.
Oh wow!
Because
there's no way to go.
There's no way to go. Yeah, people are home, and also me being another outlet, for my clients in these stressful times, to become a welcome resource.
Wow! And so I can imagine, of course, you being a professional, you have experienced some of those stresses. I can imagine people, and you know how to deal with that. But there are people who are experiencing those stresses as well. You have husbands and wives that are home, and their children are home. And from what I've been hearing, a lot of lawyers are getting calls because marriages are on the verge of disintegration. Do you see some of that in your practice, or can you speak to that to some degree? Because I know that you, being part of the church where I am, you kind of coordinate the couples ministry. So that's right up your alley. Talk to us about that.
I think it makes sense from a theoretical perspective, not necessarily from my personal experience in my practice, because the clients that I see we've been in a working relationship for a while now. But in terms of understanding, the trends from a conceptual perspective, I could see why, you're saying, attorneys are getting busier, because if a couple is in a marriage and there has been some stress within that marriage, what they've learned as ways of coping, maybe not healthy coping, but that coping that involves some being able to distance themselves from each other. Now here they are being in the same space, living and working from home, for example.
Right.
And so whatever strain that was in the relationship, that's going to bubble to the surface, and there's no outlet to then say, well, I'm going to go and go do something fun, or I'm going to go and shop, just as a way of getting some space and getting some distance. So the things that have in the relationship that were problematic, it all comes to the surface now, and it has to be dealt with. And so unfortunately for some people, they may see contacting an attorney and proceeding with the divorce as the way to deal with all of the problems coming to the surface. Other ways of dealing with it would be to get some professional help.
Right. So so one of the ways I know we in our community, in our corner, we try to keep the fire burning, so to speak, in marriages, and we have regular meetings to just talk about stuff. And so if you're not really talking about it, as you indicated, things kind of build up over time, and then it just blows up. And I know every individual has their own personal scenarios, and I'm not asking you to treat anybody in 20 minutes or 10 minutes. But one of the things we talk about when we do meet is knowing your partner's love language. And could you share a little of that? Maybe somebody who is listening can help them maybe to distress, if you will, by understanding what it is when we talk about knowing your partner's love language and how to speak that love language so as to, get things under control.
That's a really popular resource in terms of understanding your partner's love language. So what are those love languages? We talk about acts of service, quality time, physical touch,
Right.
affirmation, and what's the fifth one?
The fifth one would be time spent.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Yes,
We talked about
yes.
yes.
So what happens is that there are times when our partner may be expressing love, but because it's not in the other person's language, it doesn't get experienced as love. So for example, let's say, in my case, acts of service is, a love language for me.
Right.
And so in this pandemic, I may be working much harder, I'm busier because now we've reduced from, 2 income to 1 because my wife's office is closed. And so I just see that, I embrace that as a challenge to, hey, do what it takes to make sure we keep, paying the bills.
Right.
Whereas my wife, who values quality time and is seeing less of me, may not necessarily, be experiencing me showing love towards her because now there's because now I'm busier and we're not able to spend as much time together.
You're not speaking her language.
I'm not speaking her language, and so as busy as I am, I have to then realize that in order for me to connect with my partner, I have to speak her language. I have to create time in the day, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, but to intentionally create time in the day to say, this is our time together. Or let's say, my partner's love language is gifts. That was the fifth one.
That's right.
Then, when I'm going out, to do the regular shopping, again, because that's something that needs to be done, but taking that minute to say, you know what, let me stop by the florist, or let me get a nice gift or a card, to say, here, while I was out, I got this. And so even though, it does good for me to think that I'm going out to get the groceries to feed my family, it's going to mean a whole lot more for my partner if I'm coming back with a nice gift.
It shows that you're thinking about her.
Right.
All right. And
right.
so
loving her in the way that she can respond.
that's right. And I'm glad you said that, because sometimes we think, well, geez, I went out and buy groceries. Isn't that good enough for her? But that's not her love language.
Right.
She doesn't mean she don't appreciate the groceries.
Right.
But the fact that she wanted some quality time spent, that's important. And so that's one of the things that we as husbands and wives that are listening, you need to know what your husband's or your spouse's love language is and speak it often. I try to relate it to regular language. I say, if my language is Creole, speak Creole to me. You know, let's understand that. If we to put it in a way to understand, if all I understand is French and you speak in Spanish, we're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
So
Right.
the love language is the same thing. So great. And so we see a high incidence of disconnect and stress levels growing up, because I think one of the reasons is because people are not, they're not speaking the love language of their partner,
right.
and especially in this crazy time, things are just getting worse. Right. So if you're listening, and you know what your partner's love language is, please speak it. If your husband cut the grass and you know he loves the compliment, let him know that he did a good job. And of course, if your wife loves flowers, even if it's $5 worth, buy some flowers, because that will help decrease the stress. All right. One of the things that I've been hearing on television and among my circles is that this COVID-19 is affecting people of color in a disproportionate way. Can you talk to that to some degree, and how can we deal with that?
Yes, unfortunately, we're hearing that in communities, especially in the larger cities, we're noticing that individuals of color are becoming victims of COVID-19 at a much higher rate. What we understand is that there has long been health disparities where people of color may have less access, to quality health care.
That's right.
And so that when there are already underlying existing conditions that are not being, treated adequately, then along comes, a virus such as COVID-19, and so individuals who are already, having, some health risk now become even more vulnerable, to becoming susceptible to the disease. And so it's been talked about for years now that in communities of color, we don't have the same quality access to health care. And now I think this is one of the terrible consequences of it.
Right. And so and especially in I don't know for other communities, but I know mental health, it's like a stigma. If somebody has something with mental health, we tend not to talk about it in the family. We tend to keep it a secret. Are there some suggestions you can give us so people know that this is something that we ought not to be ashamed of? It is a disease like any other disease, and we need to seek professional help where we have to. I am saying that because I have heard a lot of younger people that are probably ready to get out of college, and they're worrying about whether they're going to get a job and stuff like that. And so the anxiety level has just skyrocketed, and some people just going to keep all of that stress. And so give us some ways to distress and how to control those kinds of scenarios.
But certainly, these are really stressful and uncertain times. And like as you mentioned, college students. I have some students on my caseload over at the university who are in that same situation where they're graduating, and they've sent out hundreds of job applications, and because so many businesses are closed, they are having a really difficult time, getting responses back. And so the level of stress is exponentially higher.
Right.
So a couple things that I've done in order to work with some of those students, first of all, is to help them not to personalize, not being able to to find a job. and to again, just kind of bring it back into perspective that yes, there is a larger worldwide pandemic, and everyone is being affected.
That's right.
Because a lot of times, you know, we are sold, you know, that vision that, you know, you're going to go to college, you're going to get educated, and you're going to have a job.
Good paying job.
A good paying job, and everything else being equal.
That's right.
But and so when something as drastic as COVID-19 has happened, and someone is having difficulty, you know, finding a job, sometimes there's still that tendency to personalize it. You know, well, maybe I'm not trying hard enough. You know, I'm not sending out enough applications. So to really you know, validate that the stress is real, that they're going through.
Right.
And then also to you know, to encourage them to open up and tap into other supports, tap into other you know, help that's available, reaching out to other family members. So again, that they're not alone in dealing with you know, the inordinate amount of stress that they're going through. Also, being a part of a support group where, you know, if they're able to tap into, for example, the university's you know, career placement center, so that they can be in connection with professionals as well as other students who are on the same journey, on the same path, you know, looking to find the next steps. And sometimes also just, you know, being okay with, well, you know, I may not work, you know,
Right.
for a few months, and I may have to go back home when that was not part of the plan.
Right.
And so being able to, you know, roll with those adjustments, because everyone is forced to do
Right.
that, you know, in this season.
So it's not just you and something is done wrong with you.
Correct.
It's something that nobody planned for, nobody knew. I mean, the toughest people are experiencing it. Governments that you know, have been known to be leaders of the world are caving under this thing. So you know, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And so part of what you were talking about is ways of coping. So we call that healthy ways of grieving. Can you expand on that a little bit?
In terms of grieving, I want to take that on as a separate issue.
Okay.
But just in terms of coping with you know, the pandemic, one of the things that I find myself encouraging my clients over and over is to kind of monitor their intake of the news.
Yes.
Because you know, whenever you turn it on, you know, the TV on, or you turn on your social media devices, there's tons of information out there about you know, the impact.
False and negative and all kinds of stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, and for some of my clients, I can see from week to week, you know, their stress level rising. And when I asked, you know, how much of the news that you're consuming, and you know, someone was saying, I watch it all the time. And so part of the homework was, you know, please take a break.
Take a break.
Know, go home and you know, just get the headlines for like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, and then, you know, have that be it. So being able to you know, monitor how much you're taking in, you know, concerning the pandemic. Also having healthy outlets. So for example, I know as busy as I am now, and being in the house, one of the things that helps me is getting out, weather permitting, twice a day. You know, early in the morning, starting the day with a walk, and then later in the evening, you know, going back again just to, you know, having that kind of rhythm, having that kind of
Absolutely.
You know, outlet helps me to kind of burn off some of the extra stress. Also, being in community. As this pandemic has prevented us from gathering, you know, in our small groups or at each other's houses, or you know, in a couples ministry, what I've really come to value is you know, tuning in on a Sunday morning and listening to you know, our service online, and at the same time having you know, a chat where I'm hearing from other members that you know, I haven't been able to see for a long time, or even you know, we've switched the format, so whereas we used to meet in each other's houses, you know, for our small group meetings, now, you know, we do that via Zoom, and again, that's a way that that we stay in touch with each other. One of the beautiful things that we're noticing, even in our couples ministry, is that you know, since you know, the pandemic, we're meeting more often now than we did before.
More people are participating.
And more people are participating. You know, whereas before, you know, sometimes we would have meetings when it was cold out, but then as soon as summer came around, you know, the schedules got so packed that you know, we were not able to meet. And I'm really encouraged, you know, that we're prioritizing you know, meeting through the Zoom format.
Well, that's great. And as you were mentioning, yes, you have to do things that will keep your mind occupied on other things, like taking walks and then just concentrating on nature and listening to the birds and the wind as the leaves are rustling, and you concentrate on you. I know for me, I do regular walking, and then as I walk through the mountains, I think about who created this, who put the sun in place, and all of that reflects back to it is God, and He is in control of pandemics and diseases and everything else. And no matter what it is we are experiencing, we will get to the other side. That's my mantra. I will get to the other side,
the hope, yeah.
because God is with us. So so thanks for those are good advice that we can follow, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Okay, so what are some of the evidence that we'll see and we can say, well, that person is really experiencing anxiety? You know, there's anxiety, but with this COVID stuff, what are some of the signs that we're seeing? You know, whether it's your clientele or whether just in general, that we'll see that we can identify that person is going through some anxiety, and therefore we can do things to treat that.
What I'm noticing is that there are times because of the structure of school or work, you know, kind of just organizing a bit of portion of our day, that there are times that some of my clients, you know, their sleep schedule gets thrown off.
Absolutely.
Where now, because there isn't that urgency of getting up to head off to work, that some individuals are staying up later, and then that throws off their sleep schedule, or sometimes you know, find themselves sleeping during the day and being up at night, which
That's
then
right.
you know, kind of throws off your circadian
Rhythm system.
Right. Also, because some people are not able to connect with their friend groups, there's more isolation, and that even though you know, you can have connection via, you know, social media, that person-to-person connection, it's really hard to you know, fully feel like you're replacing that.
Right.
And so there's sometimes more isolation,
Right.
and that's a recipe for increased you know, feelings of depression. Also, you know, you might see someone becoming you know, more irritable.
That's
you know,
right.
That in response to the smallest stressor, they have a pretty strong negative reaction.
Right.
And sometimes they may be people may notice weight gain because that they're home, and because of the emotional need and you know, for comfort and for soothing, that some people may increase you know, the caloric intake.
Yes.
And then may kind of get on the scale and not be happy about
Right.
you know, what they're seeing, but in that moment where they're craving, you know, something to bring comfort, you know,
Right.
food is so easily you know, accessible.
Yes. Yeah. So I was reading an article on before you came on. I saw some of the things that might you know, increase during this period is fatigue. People are fatigued. You talk about irritability, and people have trouble sleeping, rapid breathing, trouble concentrating. Panic attacks is on the rise, and obsessive thoughts of getting sick or fear, like people are afraid of dying. Can you address that a little bit? The fear that, you know, again, from a Christian perspective, the Bible says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind. How do you address that as a clinical psychologist, counselor?
Yeah, and I think that fear gets reinforced when, you know, we see the data, you know, that you know, thousands of people are testing positive, hundreds of people are dying in our state alone. And so, yes, there is, you know, we are in a pandemic, and you know, people are dying, and so there's some legitimacy, you know, to having you know, those feelings of concern or of fear. However, when that gets ruminated on, you know, in our minds, and all we think about is, oh my God, I am going to die. You know, I could catch this this virus. Then it could become crippling. And so what I encourage you know, my clients to do is to be realistic about the risk, but then also, you know, what are those best practices, you know, that we can engage in order to keep ourselves safe. Right. You know, so the hand washing, you know, wearing the mask, and observing you know, social distancing, so that there are certain things that are not in our control. And if we spend a lot of time thinking about them, that's going to increase, you know, fear. That's going to increase anxiety.
Absolutely.
Whereas we say, okay, we know that COVID-19 is for real. We know it's taking a lot of lives. Here are the steps that I can take in order to, you know, to protect myself. And then you do that, and you trust. You trust that everything is going to be okay, and and if you're a believer, then you put your faith in God.
Absolutely.
And, you know, God, I can't worry about this because I don't have the bandwidth,
That's
you know,
right.
to solve it. So this is an example then of me just kind of what the scripture says, casting my care on you.
That's right.
And asking that you will protect.
Yes, and to be as wise as a serpent and be harmless as a dove. And so in our community, in our corner, we have quite a few people that are essential workers. People that work on the front line, EMTs and police officers and nurses and stuff like that. And I'm sure that they are experiencing some stress. How would you, I mean, they're professionals, but how would you, because of your expertise, what would you say to them out there? How to deal with that? And, you know, they have to go home to their husbands or to their wives and their children. How would you give them some guidance?
First of all, I would, you know, say a big thank you, you know, to all of, you know, our frontline workers
Absolutely.
who are out there, you know, making it possible for us to, you know, get better, making it possible for us to, you know, have a clean environment, or for us to, you know, have food when we show up at the supermarkets.
That's right.
So thank you so much. Thank you for your service, and it's so appreciated.
Absolutely.
I would say as much as you're giving, you know, to the communities, even as you go out and you earn a living, it's so vital, it's so critical to also make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You know, practicing you know, good self-care, because again, you go out into you know, into the workplace, and it takes a lot out of you. And so, as much as you're putting out, having that routine of pouring back into yourself. So when you come home, you know, if it's again, you know, quickly getting into the shower, you know, ridding your clothes, getting in the shower, and using that as a time to begin to unwind. Use that as a time to you know, begin to relax. Be open with your family and those that you live with, in terms of the supports that you need in order to you know, to feel that you can continue to get up day after day and you know, go to the front lines and perform on this service. Take time for yourself, you know, so that on your days off, whereas before you may have you know, your days off would just be another day on, you know, really take the time to do things that would be replenishing, that would affirm that, yeah, you've given a lot, And thank God that you're still safe, but also doing things now that would pour back into you.
Thank you so much. I would like to echo those sentiments about our frontline workers. I mean, they're doing excellent work out there, and I think hopefully after this we will recognize them as the heroes that they really are. Essential workers, not just for this COVID stuff, but they have been. And by the way, don't forget our teachers. We have our teachers have not been given the kind of respect and honor that they deserve, and they have to deal with all of this. Even now, I understand some parents, I don't know if it's a joke, I saw something where parents are calling the teachers to come and take these kids, the kids at home, and now they realize how important or how much work teachers put into the lives of their children on a daily basis. And so that same sentiment goes out to you teachers. You're doing excellent work, training our next generation to deal with difficulties and to succeed in life. And so we do thank you so much for your hard work. And so absolutely you need to take care of yourself as well. And so de-stress, do what you need to do to keep your health, because we need you there. Brother D, I know I don't want to deviate too much, but I know although COVID-19 is the main focus in our society today, things are still happening, and people are having other issues happening to them. People are dying of other diseases, and I just wanted to point out that you lost your father-in-law not because of COVID, but through natural causes. And I know you're a psychologist, but you still have to deal with all of that stuff. And I did ask you about your COVID experience, but why not talk again? And that can have some mental health issues, because people are dying and families cannot go to their funerals. They cannot spend the last days with them in the hospitals, wherever they are. And I know that was the case with you. So can you talk to that? Talk about that to some degree.
Yeah, my father-in-law, William Doe, passed in the beginning of March, just before everything got shut down in terms of being in quarantine. And I know that has been quite a blow to the family.
Right.
As you were saying, he was in the hospital for about 3 weeks before he passed, between the hospital and rehab. And during those times, we couldn't, visit. And my wife and my sister-in-law are convinced that also, kind of hastened, his demise, because, he really valued having his family around him. And so for those, crucial 3 weeks where, he needed, all of the encouragement and all of the internal resources to pull through.
Absolutely.
His daughters were not able to, show up and, provide that encouragement. And so we've had to, say goodbye, to him, in pretty strange way. Whereas, before we would have, before COVID-19, we would have had a service here in Boston at our church. Because he lived here and he was part of the community, and then what we would have done was to fly the body to Nevis and have another service and ultimately a burial there, and that would have given us a time to really have the whole family just come and rally around each other, and have the community rally with us. All of that was
thrown out the door.
Was thrown out. Yeah, and so we've coped and as best as we can in terms of being receptive to friends and families who have reached out and expressed their condolences, and who have sent cards and sent well wishes, and we really appreciate that, and we will continue to hold on to the good times and the good memories.
Well, absolutely. And as I said, from a professional standpoint, I know you know how to cope, the mechanisms and how to do that. But as a pastor myself, I've had to perform burials during this period of time, and I can just imagine how the family felt when they could not attend the funeral and to say goodbye. So those things can take a toll on our minds, and so CB's Corner is a place where we inspire and we encourage and we speak positivity, and so all of this is to help us to cope with those things that we are dealing with on a regular basis. Of course, in this short span of time, we cannot address every personal situation, but I just wanted to just say out there that as Christians, as children of God, we have to understand that even when we go through some difficulties, and this is a difficulty that we have never experienced before, it can throw a lot of people off, and people question their faith, and people, why is this happening to me, and so on and so forth. And we don't always have the answers.
Right.
And so you coming on to sharing some light on this for us is very, encouraging. And but we have to always believe that no matter what we go through, because sometimes it's a valley, and sometimes it's a mountain that's before us.
Right.
Sometimes it's a giant. Sometimes it's a virus. It's a plague. But those are not foreign to the God that we serve. And so we have to understand that in spite of all of that, we have to stick to the word that says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of that of a strong mind. And so how do we maintain that strength of mind is by delving in the word of God and using common sense, being wise. So I know we are winding down. Would you care to share some last thoughts on just how we deal with difficulties in general, as Christians, as children of God, as representatives of Christ in a crisis?
As you were asking that, I remember a couple of my clients have said that this is a very tough time, but there are also opportunities available. And so one person said, they intend to come out of this, even stronger than before.
Right.
And I was encouraged to hear that. And part of her being determined to come out stronger was her getting back into a relationship, with God. She
Amen.
said that, she grew up in church, and this situation has just kind of encouraged her and motivated her to, start reading her Bible again. And because she realized, what a source of comfort,
That's right.
it has been for her. And later on, when I checked in, she had also reached out and connected with a pastor who, whose church she attended once. And even though the person lives in a different state now, the pastor has opened up her women's study group. They meet on Zoom. And so now, geographic location is no longer an issue.
It's not a barrier.
It's not a longer a barrier. And so she was so excited to say, on a weekly basis, she gets together with other women, who are also, trying to deepen their relationship, with God. And so my encouragement would be, yes, this pandemic is scary, it's overwhelming, but when you can tap into a source that's bigger than you are, and where again you can say, look, I don't have the bandwidth to think my way through this, but I will put it in God's hands and use, like you said, the commonly understood practices of staying safe.
That's right.
Do those things to stay safe, and keep trusting that we will get through this.
Amen.
And use this as an opportunity to just kind of further build your faith, further deepen your understanding and your relationship with God. It's also a time to someone said he was going to start picking up the guitar, learning to play the guitar. He's going to go out and buy one because, again,
music soothes.
the music soothes, and now that they don't have the time that they would spend commuting back and forth to their jobs, since they're working from home, they have a little bit more time, and one of the things they want to do is to pick up the guitar. So there might be a skill that you've been wanting to learn, And so with all of the time, being spent at home, since you're, going to watch, less TV, do less social media, those are the times to, set aside to, build and practice that new skill.
Absolutely.
So that when we get through this, and you can look back and say, yes, it was a scary time, but you know what? During that scary time, this is something that I learned.
That's right.
And so it would be nice to also have that positive memory, coming out of this this scary experience.
Awesome, indeed. Indeed, thank you, Brother Dennis, Dr. Dennis Tyrrell. And absolutely, the mind is, as somebody said, a battlefield. And that is where a lot of our fear and other things originate. So what you build in there is what will come out. So if negativity come out, that's what you're going to have in your life, negative. But if positivity comes out, that's what your life is going to be like. It does not mean that things are easy. It does not mean that you're not going through difficulty. It means that you're going through the difficulty, but it's not going to overwhelm you.
Right.
You're going through the struggle, but it's not going to defeat you. You're going to bend, but you're not going to break, because God is with you. And so when you go through the valley, like David says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for God is with me.
Yes.
And when I face my giants, like David did, oh, you come to me with your javelin and sword, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts. And so we have those resources from a Christian point of view to look back upon, to realize that plagues have come before, and the children of God overcame, not because of their own strength, but because of God being with them. And so this is to encourage you who are listening, who have joined us, that as a child of God, you will overcome because God is with you. And if you are listening, but you do not know the Lord as your personal Savior, maybe you should try Him. He will help you to overcome the stresses of life, the anxiety that you feel. He has come that we might have life and that we might have it more abundantly. He gives a peace that passes understanding. It's something that, well, it passes understanding. We don't understand it, but it's what we feel when we put our trust and our confidence in God, because He will see us through. Though we go through the waters, and we are going through some very deep waters, we will not be drowned. Though we go through the fire, and the fire is hot, we will not be burned. And though the waves are just boisterous, we understand that our God can speak to waves and they listen. So I am encouraged to go on. I'm encouraged to hold on, and I thank you for coming on board. As a Christian psychologist, you can still practice your craft, and it does not conflict with what you believe, because you can encourage people to trust. You can encourage people to love. Yeah. You can encourage people, and as a matter of fact, to forgive. As a matter of fact, that to me is a healing thing. A lot of us have anxiety because we hold things in our hearts. But I think in this pandemic, when you sit down and you realize that this virus has no respect of persons, queens and presidents and rich people and poor people and black people and white people and Asian people are all subject to this virus, you have to realize, you know what? Why don't I just let go? Let go of the thing that I've been holding for so long that is keeping me back. In fact, somebody says, when you hold anger inside of you, it's like drinking poison and hoping the person that you're angry with will die. And it doesn't work like that, does it? Not at all. So use the opportunity as we are quarantined to forgive, to love even the unlovable, to rebuild the relationships that once were broken, to get stronger with your spouses, and because I'm speaking from a Christian perspective. When God joined us together, it was forever, that we should love one another. And the Bible says, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And so children, love your parents, and parents, love your children. What a wonderful thing it will be when all of this is over. We can rise and say, yes, it was hard. Yes, it was difficult, but I'm better for it. I am wiser. I am stronger. And I'm a better lover. I have learned my spouse's love language, and I'm going to speak it more. I'm going to compliment her more. I'm going to compliment him more. And we will see. This thing is not all bad. It will bring us closer. That's the hope.
Welcome everybody. This is Art and the Word, and I'm your paint guide, Nicole Georges Bennett. And today we will be doing something that's very simple and easy that you can do with your kids. So this will be the first of a series of paintings that I will be doing inspired by YouTube artist, the Art Sherpa. And if you'd like to follow the Art Sherpa, that's ARTSHERPA on YouTube, and she's fantastic. So she is one of the first artists that I started following when I was learning to paint, and I'm just very happy to recommend her to you. So of course, today we will be doing a sunflower. Now you may say, Nicole, did you make that beautiful painting? And the answer is no, I did not. This was actually done by my daughter when she was about 8 or 9 years old. And as you can see, it's very easy, very simple, but very colorful, and your kids will definitely enjoy doing something like this. So we're going to get started in a while, but because this program is called Art and the Word, we also like to look for inspiration from the Word of God that ties into the theme of what we're painting. So we have had this particular verse come up before. If you might remember, last week we did Birds of the Fields, and now we're going to be looking at the lilies of the field. And our verse again will be from Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 and 34. Therefore I say to you, be not anxious for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than raiment? Behold the birds of the heaven, that they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, and your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are not they of more value? Are you not of more value than them? And which of you, by being anxious, can add 1 cubit or inch unto the measure of his life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, or in our case, the sunflowers of the field. They do not toil, and they do not spin, but see how they grow. Yet I say to you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of them. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Be not therefore anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or how shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So don't be anxious for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. So that was our verse for today. And again, just in case you'd like to look that up yourself, it's from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 34. So again, just to let you know that the portion that deals with the lilies of the field, that is actually verse 28. And it's all about, why do we worry about the things that we need? Because our Heavenly Father, who takes care of the birds and the butterflies and the sunflowers and the lilies, also takes care of us. And he loves us so much more than all of these things in nature, much less, right? So let's get started. So I'm working with a new camera today, so please excuse me if it's a little, yeah, like that. So I just want to zoom in a little bit here so that you can see our painting. comes from. Hidden wisdom. So what I'm doing now is I'm just layering this yellow, trying to blend it in a bit with my orange at all the little areas where the white was showing through from my canvas. Because we do not want that, we want to have full coverage. And there we go. And as you can see, the brown is not completely covered over. And if I feel like there's some areas that maybe have gotten a little too much yellow, I can add a little touch of brown back into the painting and tone that down. And you can continue to layer like that. You may end up with some areas that look a little muddy. You just let that dry, and then again come back over with a lighter color. Should end up with something pretty interesting and full of depth and dimension. All right, good. Rinse out your brush, and now we're going to do a bit of highlight using our white. Now, if you've got the kids doing this one, then you could pretty much just have them sign their name, and they can feel proud that they've got a lovely sunflower done. If you would like to do this, you know, add another dimension to it, what you can do is you can show where light is touching your sunflower. So we have to start thinking about which section is our light coming from. So if your sun is coming from the right hand side, then everything on the right hand side is going to be touched with that light. I'm going to do it coming from the left hand side, so everything on this side will be touched with the light. And to show that, I'm just going to, first of all, check to see if things are dry. I'm just going to come here, just a bit of white, and just show there's some areas where blend that in to show where the light is touching the petal. And just blend that in. Showing some little highlights here. And here. Got a bit more white. So I'm going to show this is where the light is coming from. How's that looking? Good? Yeah. I do hope that you can see. And we will be putting some white highlights into the center as well. Not too much, because we don't want to overdo it. And then as we start to get closer to the underside of the leaf, we'd show up less white because there's less light reaching these areas. So by now, most of the white is off of my brush anyway, so that works out perfectly. Just doing the leaves that were sort of in the back there. Okay. And now that I've got just a little bit of white left on my brush here, I'm just going to do some highlights. To show that the sun is also hitting this side as well. Overdoing it on the light. I'm sorry, we've lost our music there. I tried to hum, hope it helped. There we go. And we are done. We are done. So like I said, when you do this with the children, you do not have to go into all of this detail. Once they've got their sun, the center of their flower done and their petals, they're good to go. If you like, you can do as my daughter did and draw in your own design and background. This one we've got, I just went a little bit further in case we've got some grown-ups who would also like to try and they want to end up with something that's a bit more sophisticated. But we are good to go. All done. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to sign my name because as I tell you, you should be very proud of your work. You've worked hard and God has given you an ability and the opportunity to develop your talent. So do what every artist does, regardless of skill level, and sign your work. All done. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for Art and the Word. I really, really hope that you enjoyed today's paint. We will be back with some more child-friendly, family-oriented paintings for you and the family to do as we begin summer in earnest. So once again, God bless you. Thank you for joining me. I'm Nicole Georges Bennett. Have a wonderful day. Welcome everybody. This is Art and the Word, and I'm your paint guide, Nicole Georges Bennett. And today we will be doing something that's very simple and easy that you can do with your kids. So this will be the first of a series of paintings that I will be doing inspired by YouTube artist, the Art Sherpa. And if you'd like to follow the Art Sherpa, that's ARTSHERPA on YouTube, and she's fantastic. So she is one of the first artists that I started following when I was learning to paint, and I'm just very happy to recommend her to you. So of course, today we will be doing a sunflower. Now you may say, Nicole, did you make that beautiful painting? And the answer is no, I did not. This was actually done by my daughter when she was about 8 or 9 years old. And as you can see, it's very easy, very simple, but very colorful, and your kids will definitely enjoy doing something like this. So we're going to get started in a while, but because this program is called Art and the Word, we also like to look for inspiration from the Word of God that ties into the theme of what we're painting. So we have had this particular verse come up before. If you might remember, last week we did birds of the fields, and now we're going to be looking at the lilies of the field. And our verse again will be from Matthew chapter 6, verse 25 and 34. Therefore I say to you, be not anxious for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than raiment? Behold the birds of the heaven, that they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, and your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are not they of more value? Are you not of more value than them? And which of you, by being anxious, can add 1 cubit or inch unto the measure of his life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, or in our case, the sunflowers of the field. They do not toil, and they do not spin, but see how they grow. Yet I say to you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of them. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Be not therefore anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or how shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So don't be anxious for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. So that was our verse for today. And again, just in case you'd like to look that up yourself, it's from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 34. So again, just to let you know that the portion that deals with the lilies of the field, that is actually verse 28. And it's all about why do we worry about the things that we need? Because our Heavenly Father, who takes care of the birds and the butterflies and the sunflowers and the lilies, also takes care of us. And He loves us so much more than all of these things in nature, much less, right? So let's get started. So I'm working with a new camera today, so please excuse me if it's a little, like that. So I just want to zoom in a little bit here so that you can see our painting.